Hi, everyone. Brad Porter here with your weekly Sunday update. Hey, this week I want to talk numbers, robot numbers, because there were some interesting numbers and stats put out there. So Boston Dynamics made a comment this week that they don't expect to see 1,000 humanoids in the market for at least 5 years, right? And I mean, we know that safety standards are at least 3 years out. And from everything I can tell from what I'm hearing in the humanoid space, everyone is struggling with the complexity of these machines, right? Many of these machines have north of 20,000 parts. And so trying to make that reliable, trying to make that production grade, production ready, you can see why it could take a long time to build a large volume of these, right? And I think the unit economics are really going to be challenged too, right? Because you've got to bring the cost down dramatically. For me, the sweet spot is to be able to operate below $15 an hour, right? Below $15 an hour, fully burdened labor costs of a kind of warehouse worker today is about $26 an hour, North America. So if you can hit $15 an hour, there's a real savings, real ROI, and it just kind of goes whoosh, right, as industries adopt, which will be great because we have labor supply constraints in these spaces, right? It is hard to staff these roles and jobs. And so, robots is a powerful way to address that. But $15 an hour to me is a target point, which means you've got to get the cost of the robot and the cost of the maintenance, everything down. Figure also announced the completion of their work with BMW and that they had moved about 200 miles in the duration of their engagement with BMW. So let me share a little bit of the stats on Proxie, right? So Proxie operating costs already is at $14.80 an hour, right? And so we brought the operating costs down. We're at 1,600 parts, not 20,000 parts, and we're the highly reliable machine looking to scale. By the numbers, we have 36 robots in the field, right? So not a huge volume, but let's talk about the stats of what those 36 in the last in the period that we've had our deployments, we added it up, we've moved carts over 5,000 miles. We've saved 10 million steps, right, of people having to push these heavy industrial carts around. We just went through a measurement period with Maersk where they basically said, let's go test the end-to-end performance of the system. So we worked over the last 4 weeks, we worked 36 shifts, generally 15 robots a shift. We moved over 31,000 carts. We moved over 95% of all eligible carts in there. The system operates autonomously and it self-identifies the work. So there's not even warehouse management integration. The robots are identifying the work. This is a first of a kind deployment. What Cobot and Maersk were able to show here is there's nothing on the market capable of moving collaboratively in and around humans, and our robots will move 1.5 meters per second, right? So it's a brisk walking speed. In this measurement, 1,100 miles. It just the amount of work today, which is humans walking, moving carts around, we're going to be able to automate all of that. And so we're excited. We launched another process path this week at Mayo Clinic, moving more equipment through their hospital. We launched another customer this past week, rolled the robots out, mapped the space. They're moving around. We're rolling, we're ramping we're going to start to produce a lot of robots in 2026 as we look to ramp up to support all of these customers. But those are the things to think about. Like, think about part count, right? How do we bring that down? How do we bring the unit cost to where it needs to be? How do we bring the scale in manufacturing up? But how do we do the work, right? How do we really push these carts? How do we really and do the work at those costs? And so I think there's a really exciting future in front of us. Congrats to the guys at Sunday Robotics. They put out a pretty cute looking home robot. I think The thing I always worry about with these is that first build. It's not hard to build a robot. It's hard to build a robot with the strength and the speed and the capability that you need to work in these environments. And so it was a little hard to tell that robot whether it didn't seem to have super big motors, which means I'm a little worried that it didn't have a lot of strength to it. The tasks showed, lifting plates and pulling, so that's good. But it also was doing it at 1/10 the speed. And so sometimes, you can gear down so that if you move very slowly, it can climb up, right? Because they don't need a very big motor to go very slowly. But you need a bigger motor to go fast. And so it's really hard to tell why they had to 10x speed up. Because their AI looks great, right? And we've seen that 1x shows all their videos at 1x, right? At 1x the speed, so that we know the AI can respond that quickly. So I'm a little worried that the robot probably needs some work on the strength, but that's just a hypothesis. But the launch was amazing. The team is really a great team, and I like the design, and I think we're gonna. I don't know about robots in the home. That's a hard economic space to be. But if you look at what Everyday Robots does, and you think of Sunday Robotics as kind of a successor along that generation, I think it's a worthy successor. And so excited to see how those guys progress. All right. Hope you all have a great week, and thanks for tuning in.